that is a non-starter. You should never touch a product which says proprietary blend, but here's what's in it. We won't tell you how much. That's your red flag saying it's not going to work.
All right, welcome back for another episode of Sup Beast. As always, Zane Spruce, Neal Spruce, and today we got probably a subject we should have started on from the beginning, considering our name, but I think it was important to cover everything beforehand before we get to this, which is supplements. So today, going to be going a little supplements in general, like the supplement space, right? Not necessarily the individuals. Like we'll do that in a future one here, but talking about supplements, I feel like supplements is in a little bit of a weird space. Like right now with like social media and everything, feels a lot like a little bit of like the Wild West out here, where you're getting like information from what seems to be credible sources, and then obviously like you can blatantly tell who the influencers are giving you information too. So just kind of like cutting through all that, talking about supplements. Are they right for you? Are they good? All that stuff. So as we know here, you being in this space for how long would you say now?
Well, since about 1982, 81, right in there, I've been lecturing on nutrition since late 70s. Okay, right. But then got in the space of the nutrition business, building programs, nutrition, menu plans for people that join gyms so they had the right amount of calories to get to their goal, along with supplementing the proper nutrition to fill any gaps that they had along the way and get to their goals quicker. So I've been doing that since the mid-'80s. How long ago was that?
That's about 40 years since we're mid-20s now, which is crazy. With that being said, as you said, you have a company. It's an R&D one, but supplements are the byproduct of that research.
Yeah, we have a very rare expertise in that. Yeah.
I'll be here to challenge you a little bit on, like, obviously people are going to watch this and know we are in favor of supplements. Right. And they'll be like, oh, you're compromised, whatever.
Well, we just deal with facts.
Yeah. I'll be here, though, to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, keep you honest, okay? The kind of battle you on some questions that, are like, come on. All right, so let's get into it anyways. So in your eyes, everyone kind of understands supplements, and we're talking about the ones that we, like, buy and bottles.
Call them legal dietary supplements. I don't want people thinking about drugs or cheaters out there that actually spike supplements with drugs. Yeah. They'll put Viagra in it. They'll put hormone steroids, which is why your pro teams and college teams make everything get NSF certified for sport, which is what we do, and to make sure everything is clean. So let's talk about legal, allowed,
diets. Right. So anything, but some of these things you can buy in the store, and I don't want this to become a mass market one, like mass market podcast about supplements, because we're going to do that in a future one. So on the whole, like what are supplements to you? Like when we're talking about legal dietary supplements,
dietary supplements, a very simple explanation, a non-scientific explanation for everybody that's listening out there, are what we call isolated nutrition. In other words, we extract what we want out of the food or whatever else, so we can throw the shit we don't want in the foods. Like take creatine, for instance. Yeah. Creatine, for you to get enough creatine to improve performance, you'd have to eat about 30 pounds of raw steak a day. Yeah. Okay. So you don't want to do that.
Yes.
So we actually get the creatine out, or we can make it exact same molecule. It's even cleaner, and use that without any calories. Yeah, and now you get the performance benefit, and you get to eat what you're eating.
Or health benefit.
Or health benefit. With creatine, your brain,
because right now we're just talking about supplements on a whole. So we're talking about vitamins, minerals.
Same thing with vitamins. For you to get the recommended dietary allowances of all the vitamins and minerals that we need to fuel our body regularly, you'd have to eat of normal foods, you'd have to eat about 20,000 calories a day, and you'd be one fat fuck. So obviously what we want to do is make sure, hey, eat whatever your diet is. Everybody's eating all kinds of weird diets these days. Yeah. We tell you what the ideal diet is, like a Mediterranean or a standard heart healthy diet. We get that. No one does it. Yeah. Okay, for more than a week. So whatever they're doing, you're going to have gaps all over the place because all foods are different. Some of them don't contain the vitamins and minerals. So bottom line is, what you do, you just get all the vitamins and minerals. There's no calories in those. And you take that, and that complements whatever shit you're eating. You know, we want you to eat well. It's not an excuse for that. In fact, by the way, people that take multivitamins and minerals, they eat better than people that don't. Yeah, that's a fact. That's kind of an irony. But
Yeah, we'll kind of get into
yeah. But that's what you want, or isolated nutrition. Throw away the calories or the stuff you don't want in it, okay, and bring in the nutrition.
So that's like the best way you would
That's the
describe
best way to
supplements
describe it
is
to
like,
anyone. Right, exactly. It's the isolated compounds. So you're getting them straight,
Yeah.
right? So if I wanted branched chain out of food, if I wanted 6 grams of branched chain amino acids, that'd be a lot of freaking food.
And you sort of answered this is like, can you get all the nutrients you need from food alone? But
Well, you can get enough to live.
Right.
You're not going to be the best you could be because you're always going to be missing something. That'd be very naive for anybody to think, well, here's what I ate today. I got all the nutrients I need. Here's what I ate yesterday. So I got all the nutrients I need. Well, that's obviously wrong because you can't do that every day. And you don't know where your food was grown.
Yeah.
If the minerals not in the soil, which is very common in different areas, zinc and selenium are not in soils, certain places, you can't live without those two things.
Yeah.
So again, it's just like that you don't know. It sounds good, and you're going to do a lot better if you're eating a nice, clean Mediterranean diet.
Right.
But you always, it's foolish not to. It's just too cheap to plug those gaps with no calories.
Yeah.
You know,
When should, like, we're talking people that are maybe apprehensive or getting into the space of starting to take supplements or thinking about it, like maybe they've had a health crisis, anything like that. When should people consider taking supplements?
but you already did. You were. I mean, from the day you're born, from the day you're in the womb, you took a prenatal and you didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Your mom was taking a prenatal to multivitamin mineral. So your whole life, it should never stop. And I always tell, and I lecture for kids and their parents, as you know, right? Coached football. I said, shame on you if you're not having your kid every day take a multivitamin mineral, so they have all the stuff they need to build a stronger structure. So it should be your whole life. That's just one of those things. But if you say someone's just walking into it for the first time, what do they need to know?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Okay. In other words, they're an adult and they've never taken one before, even though they didn't know they did when they took a baby formula and they're in the womb, they were taking one. And the other thing people should remember that, when you embark on taking supplements, you do want to get, I hate to use this, a reputable company, because they all say they're reputable, right? And some of them are so full
And we're
of
going to
shit.
get into that too, you know? This is more like considering like,
third-party tested. You want it always third-party tested. Generally, everything we do is third-party tested and sometimes fourth-party tested by NSF certified for sport, because, we are the biggest in all pro sports and college sports. And so we have to do all that. And so that's one, but that doesn't mean it works. So I always challenge people this. Go call whatever you're doing, call them and find out if they have documentation on the dosage and forms in their product. And of course they won't, because they don't have to. It's not like a drug, right? Drugs, you have to do that. So that's why you got to find a company you can trust. That's what it comes down to. Someone that, well, again, I'm not going to, I don't want a shameful plug here or anything like that, but when you know someone is as big as we are in billion-dollar companies that have to protect their assets, that's the kind of company you're looking for. Like that.
So, and I wanted to get
because
to that
we can't do anything wrong.
I want to get to that towards the bottom. I kind of want to get through supplements and
shopping for them.
Yeah, clearing the area about and
don't
then
listen
people
to
we're kind of
influencers.
working with people on the fence about it or never taking it right now. And so when you say, if you were to look at someone who doesn't, let's give you an example of a healthy individual, like a moderately healthy individual, could be in better shape, this and that.
Like me.
But they don't take supplements. What would you say to them? Like, would you say anything, or would you say you should?
Only if they asked me.
Right.
I mean, they didn't ask me, I wouldn't tell them anything.
Yeah.
But if they're in moderately good shape and they're a healthy individual, and they ask me, should I supplement? I'm say yes. Period.
Yeah. Well, let's look at it in the space of people watching this right now.
Okay.
And they're watching, and we're just preaching, right? So it's just whoever wants to absorb this. What would you say if somebody's not taking supplements and they're watching us right now?
If they're not taking any?
Yeah.
Well, then you need to start with a baseline supplement, which is your multivitamin mineral to plug your gaps, right? So you're feeding your body exactly what all your trillions of cells need every day to replace themselves healthily. If you don't, they just downregulate. So that's just what everybody should do. After that, it's different. Everything's about your goal at that point. But you want to see, supplementing allows you to be, and I want all the listeners to remember this saying, calorically efficient.
Yeah.
More nutrition, less calories. Yeah. So you don't end up just blowing up with, body fat everywhere.
Yeah. All right. So And then that's going to bring us to a lot of people are wondering if like supplements are safe because aren't they just
Well, they're supposed to be.
Yeah, and I mean, are like for me, I think of supplements. Are they synthetic?
Some of them are.
Most of
Some
them?
of them are. Yeah, most of your creatine products, unless you're getting it from China, and that's really not. It's pretty dirty. The natural extracts aren't better than synthetic necessarily. Okay, synthetic. Actually, like a synthetic vitamin C is probably just as good as an ascorbic acid extraction from something. Might even be better because you don't have anything else coming along with it. It's just pure vitamin C molecule. So any scientist knows that. It's just people go, I must want things natural. I want them natural. Well, so again, all the vitamins that we have are all natural extracts. They're put into something, okay. But there are things that can be synthetic. They'll be just absolutely fine. There's not going to be any issue as far as that goes. There's no. So what was the original question on that? There's no.
We're getting to our supplements safe, and then because I look at it as, the whole world now is kind of going like shunning ultra processed stuff and whatnot, and so.
Supplements are supposed to be safe. If they're sold on a shelf, they're supposed to be. But no one can test every product that comes onto a shelf. Amazon gets busted for carrying stuff that's got steroids spiked in it because there's some cheaters. There's some bad actors out there. Small percentage, but they're out there. The bigger problem is under formulation. They're just not putting the right amounts in the stuff.
Right.
So it's not doing you any good. You're wasting your money. So, but that's because they're competing on price. So that's all. So they're safe. They're safe. People, but put it this way, they're not dying from taking supplements like they do from drugs.
Sometimes.
Not even close. Very, very rare.
One lady at Herbalife.
Yeah, I know. Very rarely does anybody die from taking supplements, unless it was on them, probably.
Yeah.
They're overdosing. Like you can overdose on milk. You can overdose on chicken. You can overdose on anything, So it's just.
I suppose.
Yeah, that's all. Or you're taking a stimulant, and it tells you take 2 daily, and you're taking 8.
Yeah.
You're going to have some heart palpitations. Bad things are going to happen. A lot of people have some problems with taking stimulant-type products, and those are legal.
Yeah.
So that's the person that really needs to know, hey, listen, if you're bothered by stimulants, don't take it. As soon as you are, stop taking it, if that's the case. So that's where they can be dangerous, when you don't know what to do. And we solved that problem many years ago. We made sure we have a medical questionnaire. So again, you can't ask people what drugs they're taking when you're in the world like we are. But what you do, you ask, you have liver disease, do you have cardiovascular events, you have all this. And when you check that, it'll scratch anything that you shouldn't be taking and just recommend like a protein and a multi, something simple. So it makes it very easy. So you shouldn't be taking. So that's the only time they're dangerous, if you've got a contraindication where you shouldn't be taking it because you're on some weird medications and so forth. So they can be. That's why you really should. And I tell people all the time, even though doctors don't know anything about supplements, generally they don't. Tell them that you're using it, and then they'll look at it. And we work with docs. We send them the inject formulas and all the criteria around it. So we make sure we cover that as well. But that would be it. It's just if you've got you've got some kind of strange disease that you shouldn't take something, but we talk about multivitamins or like a calcium supplement or a fish oil. It'd be really unusual if you had something you would stop you from taking that.
So how can someone tell if something is of high quality? And
well, the first thing I mentioned was third-party testing, but that doesn't mean it works. That just means the label's clean. Right. It's there's no heavy metals in it. They pass the screening of the right amount of naturally occurring metals. They pass that. The label's accurate, so if it says it's got 50 milligrams of vitamin C, it's got 50 milligrams of vitamin C. But 50 milligrams of vitamin C isn't going to do you much good. So that doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
So you can third-party test anything. So you need 2 things. You need documentation that the dosage informs in that particular ingredient formula. Like let's say it was a creatine, or let's say it was a branched chain, the isoleucine and valine. Well, what are the actual numbers you need? You need about 4 grams or 4,000 milligrams of leucine, and you need, let's say, 1,700 milligrams of isoleucine, 1,900 milligrams of valine. Now you've got the perfect branched chain.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you third-party test that, and boom, you've got the perfect formula. Yeah. Now, what if somebody else went like this? Well, let's just put 1 milligram of leucine in it.
Yeah.
And let's just put like 500 milligrams of valine in it, okay? And third-party test it. It's there, but it's not going to do even a rat any good, let alone a human.
Yeah, and that's the confusing thing for people is that you don't know, but you don't even know what to fact check, They
don't.
So it's like,
all you know is that label's accurate.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of people
you're looking at the numbers and you're going, I always love that. People looking at numbers. I'll see them in a store looking at a label and the numbers on it. I go, you know what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Hey, no, they don't know what
Yeah,
they're
they go
looking
into like Costco. I mean, Costco's
It's a
probably
vitamin,
good
well.
one. Costco's probably a good one. You go in, you're surrounded by all Kirkland brand stuff,
Rite
and
Aids
it's
and
like,
stuff,
and it's like, oh, you're just surrounded by health.
Yeah,
you know, it's like, and you just assume. I had to probably assume 99% of people assume that whatever is on that shelf is gonna help them and be beneficial, and it might to some degree, right?
Yeah.
But
could be better than nothing. If you're buying a multivitamin, even though it's underformulated, it's better than nothing.
I mean, Lord knows that there are some bad things out there that you know, like you said, there's some bad actors. They spike
things with stuff, and they do that because they want you to get high, so you feel like you're getting into it.
And I mean, I had a few friends in high school that, you know, like maybe they took a little more than the recommended dose, but that shouldn't be what puts you in a hospital.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, they're like those uppers. They were putting stimulants.
Pre-workouts and stuff. But
yeah.
People spike proteins too, though.
Oh, absolutely. Spiking protein was something all the big companies got sued for that. But yeah, so you want, if you can get the manufacturer to give you the dosage in forms matched to clinical trials, which they'll say it, but you got to produce it, and then look at the label to see if it's matched to those dosage, and then third party test it, and then you'll find it. But I mean, that's just automatic for us.
So this is something I always kind of wonder, because I'm an avid supplement taker. One third of my meals essentially is a supplement, right? My protein shake in the morning with the powder, the greens powder or whatever, is one of my meals.
Yeah.
And so that's ultra processed food, right?
Well, it depends on you. Okay, that's a really tricky thing. A protein powder.
This
that's
is what
you're
goes
talking
in
about.
the mind of the masses.
Okay, but okay, I got you.
You know?
Well, the all-in-one super blend is 100% natural. There's nothing synthetic in there, so you can't even call that in a process. It's just natural stuff put together. But it's got all the ingredients in there. You know, you've got your vitamins and minerals, all natural sources, nothing synthetic. The sweetener in there is all natural. So that would not fall into that category. A protein powder with artificial sweeteners, with emulsifiers, okay, which is very common, and that's really the only way you can make a really good tasting one.
Yeah.
Okay, that would fall into the category of ultra processed, but it's healthier than many unprocessed foods, like a steak that's fat. I'll take the whey protein powder with artificial sweeteners all frickin' day long for that protein versus what you're going to get out of a fat ribeye.
Right.
So again, there's trade-offs on that, and there's nothing. Emulsifiers, they'll list it on the label like a soy lecithin or something, but they're in infinitesimal amounts. You couldn't, if you ate 4 bottles of protein powders in one day, you might get that average daily intake that's okay. You might hit the threshold, but no one's going to do that. You know, so yeah, it's not. That's really tricky when you talk about a natural protein powder. Would not be an ultra process, obviously, but the other ones, that's the most common ones that are purchased today. They're going to have artificial sweeteners, so the calories stay down, the protein stays high, and they're going to have emulsifiers, so they mix really well and they taste really good.
Yeah, I guess I know. Like you're saying, like it's healthier, like fuel for your body, I guess, but all the ultra processed, like people are considering like the artificial stuff in it, like that stuff.
Yeah.
Is like, so is it, which will lead me to the next question, is it okay to just indefinitely take that for like, say, I've been doing that for 10 years now.
Well, I've been doing it for 50.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, since I was 18, 19, when I first started lifting weights, 20 protein shakes. So that would be what, 50 years? Yeah. I'm 52. I'm 72 next month. So yeah. So, I mean, come on. And protein shake I do has always been an artificial sweetener. It keeps the calories down, tastes better. You can cook with it, and it's a natural sweeteners and I have calories that cause obesity and dental caries, So, I mean, it's like, it's confusing for people to think out there. They want, I want everything natural.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's okay. Then go ahead. And we have, as you know, we make sure we have a natural line for people too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we're not.
I know. And this is where, inevitably we're going to cross paths with what you do and stuff. And That's not what this is about either. You know, we're just trying to hear to spit truth.
Yep. I'm going to give it to you straight the way I do in my lectures when people talk about artificial sweeteners. I go like this. If you don't want them, don't buy something that's got them in there.
All right.
Because there's an old saying, don't get between a mother bear and her cub. When these people that are what we call, they're victims of agnotology, which is actually a study of culture, the culture preponderance of ignorance. Mm-hmm. And what happens is, it is the cultural production of ignorance is what the study of agnotology. And what it does is people that just, they start managing data for their own convenience. They go to the websites and they go, artificial sweeteners. Oh, look at this studies that I found here. This rat died, okay? And they had supraphysiological doses. They didn't read that. They're just trying to manage that for themselves. Then they get locked into it. And then they just, then they don't know what they're talking about. What I always tell people is this: you're always going to be entitled to your own opinion. Everybody knows that, but you are not entitled to your own facts. So if you're just learning things from the internet, you are not qualified to have that conversation with other people. Shut the fuck up and let the people that really know, people that have been doing it for all these years, be the person that's going to, hey, there's nothing wrong with these things at this level. There's nothing wrong with natural or artificial sweeteners at this level, okay? Unless for some you have an aversion to it. There are people that just can't have stevia, which is a natural sugar. It makes their lips quiver. Yeah. You know, there's people that you always got somebody that's going to have some adverse reaction to something. Let's just don't do it and move on. Yeah. That's what's kind of cool about the whole thing. Yeah. So that's all I tell people. You're not going to hurt yourself with the amount that's allowed in the daily food chain. Right. For the average person, you're not going to hurt yourself. Period. At all. In fact, you might save yourself calories. I'll take that all the way to save the calories rather than being a fat fuck. You know, all the stuff. So.
And of course, you're gonna have the people here watching this like, well, you know, Neal, the FDA lies to you too about what's allowed.
The FDA,
or like what's allowed for artificial sweeteners, like.
Well, they don't. Then they'll go to the European Union.
Yeah.
They actually are higher. You're allowed more. And by the way,
I know,
artificial sweeteners, I know, but I love it. Go ahead. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not a fan of the FDA. It's like
they're saying what the guidelines that you're working within are not actually
the right guidelines.
Yeah, they're not viable. Okay. You know, they're lying to you.
Well, then at some point you gotta listen to something. Okay, and listen. We have enough experience. Yeah. We have enough experience. 50 years we've been feeding people, and they are as healthy now as they were then. Yeah. So it's not killing anybody. Or, you know, we don't see people dropping dead. Oh, this person just died from artificial sweeteners over here. Oh, that one over there died. It's not like, okay. But I've seen a lot of people die from natural sugar. Yeah. Diabetes, all that stuff. They die from that stuff.
Diabetes.
All day long.
So it's safe to take indefinitely.
Absolutely. Unless for some reason you've got some weird physiological state that is very, very different from the average human. That is what's going to happen. How about if you have, some people have irritable bowel. You know, they have anything like you name it. Stomach aversion to something, or they get dizzy. Got to have a Diet Coke, and I get dizzy. I know people that they really do. Yeah. You know, they've had it and gotten dizzy, and so stop drinking it.
I feel like that's where I fall. Like I know you're head or neck deep in the research, so you have all this to you have all these things reassuring you in what is right, you know. But for me, like I'm hearing all this ultra processed shit online, this and that, and I'm like over here scratching my head, like, well, 33% of everything I eat in my life basically is an ultra processed like shake, and you know, it's even for me, someone that can kind of discern through all the bullshit can even kind of like waver a little bit and be like, oh, is this the right thing to do? That shake
that you take, because you're using an all-natural plant protein, yeah, so that's not ultra-processed. So anyway, because it's all natural. It has to have something, a filler or a binder that is synthetic, or, you know, something that the man made. But that meal there is the healthiest meal you get for the day. Yeah. Overall, far and away, 2 servings of vegetables, you know, and all the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, everything. It's your healthiest meal of the day. Yeah.
And you're my dad too, so it's I'm
telling you.
I'm pretty sure if it wasn't, you'd be pulling me on the side like, hey, chill out, you know? Okay. Yeah. So I mean, but
people shouldn't get up in the.
But that should tell you, like, you know me, I have a decent pulse on the like supplements, nutrition, everything. And so you can only imagine what's going through other people's heads like that are like just tiptoeing into this space.
That's why I love doing these little things that we're doing, because you can bring it all to light. Now, don't forget, I lecture, well, you know how many, what I do, like 2 to 3 a day every month, 5 days a week. And I've got audiences of from anywhere from 15 to thousands on one lecture. So again, it's like, I hear it from all sides on all types of things, but that gives me the difference between myself and other so-called experts is the fact that I've seen it all. No one, I will argue this, lectures more than I do overall and all the years and everything else, and had more different types of audiences that I've had to communicate with, and especially naysayers and all these things. So, I'm armed with the stuff that I've got to research in order to be able to answer those questions to people. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. So, obviously everyone asks, do supplements really work? And that's a yes. And then, but really how big is that margin that you gain from taking supplements? Say you are somebody, and for the most part, we're talking about the normal, healthy-ish individual. What does that really move the needle that much, or?
And that's a question that it's difficult to answer. Right. Let's face it. Very few nutrition scientists would ever tell anybody that fill your gaps, take a multivitamin mineral, but they're all going to say it. They're all going to agree with that, because no one just accidentally gets all that. So those, you can't measure that needle though. You can't measure the move.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to actually have 2 different populations. 1 million people here and 1 million people here. Tell these people they cannot supplement a multivitamin mineral. And these people do their whole life from the womb to tomb.
Yeah.
There's no question these people are going to live better longer. There's no one's going to live long. I don't know who's going to get hit by a train. Right, I don't know what kind of lifestyle you have. So
we're not talking about that.
I'm talking about each decade of life of this person is going to be better than this one. They'll have less fractures. They'll have less cardiovascular events. They'll have less, and we know that just intuitively.
Yeah.
Because people that get the right amount of vitamins and minerals will be like that. And you can do that on a healthy diet as long as you're not challenged in an environment that is full of pollution and all the crap that we have to deal with in our world. But the bottom line is that person over here that doesn't, those 1 million people not allowed to supplement their diet, that would be unethical, because they could be missing total stuff, and they're of course going to have problems later on. So you can't follow that part of it. However, if you're going to talk about sports performance, then it comes to a different place.
Yeah.
Because you can measure that. And you can measure that right away. We measure it with caffeine supplementation, beta-alanine, and creatine. These are what we call evidence-based performance enhancers. And the margin, and don't forget, this isn't necessary. I mean, creatine's different. That's an aging supplement now. It's actually part of healthy aging. Yeah. So but from a performance standpoint, it's been in the world of athletics now for over 30 years and wildly successful. And it moves the needle significantly, because you recover better. If you recover better, your next workouts are going to be better, and they build on each other. And your acute performance in the gym or on the field of play is going to be better. And we know that. We've measured, thousands of studies have measured that. Yeah. So beta-alanine also, caffeine, but they're very few. Carbohydrate loading, like for endurance athletes, these move the needle significantly. Because don't forget, games are won and lost, races are won and lost, Olympic sports are won and lost by fractions of a second.
Right.
And this pushes you well over that.
Yeah.
So that's why it gets into sports. And by the way, almost 100% of all elite athletes supplement.
Yeah.
Oh, easily 100%, because everybody uses a Gatorade. That's a supplement. Yeah. So I'm just saying, and people don't realize that. I don't supplement. Oh, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, and I guess, but people are like, it's more when you see a brand and you see a whole, catalog of stuff. Like that's kind of what we're talking about here today.
When you get into like some special, I think, put it this way, to kind of get your question. Can you believe the ads regarding what the supplements are supposed to do? Probably not. You probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are going to be exaggerated generally. They're going to be, a little bit different. We just use, we call it structure and function claims. We know that creatine can improve performance because it supports the energy cycle of your phosphocreatine system. So you can actually open that window a little wider and get more reps, more strengths, a faster sprint. Your explosive can get there. So we know that. So we just, the claims we make are harmless. but we're making a claim of that. Hey, you will improve your performance. You will improve the amount of new fiber muscle you might be building here because you're working out longer and better.
So you kind of touched on creatine and beta alanine as you can kind of immediately see that impact. So how long does it take to see, like, say if you never took a multivitamin mineral, are you ever going to see the benefit of that?
Yeah. Here's what I'm glad you asked that, because I always like to ask people, have you ever taken one before? Let's say they're in a lecture or something like that. Okay, well, you're going to start taking one now. Now, listen, you don't just take a multi and go, wow, do I feel good? It's not like drinking a cup of coffee or something,
people
right?
think it's like, oh, I'm taking drugs.
I know, exactly, yeah. And all it's doing is filling your gaps, and now all of a sudden your enzymes, which your trillions of enzymes in your trillions of cells, are now firing up. Those are the spark plugs of your cells. Now they're going, whoa, now I have a coenzyme. Your vitamins and minerals are coenzymes. So now spark plugs for my cylinders, and you start ramping up. And it takes about, if you had a vitamin deficiency, like an iron deficiency, or you had a selenium deficiency or something like this, you started taking a supplement for it, a vitamin
deficiency or insufficiency?
No, it would be. I'm talking about. I'm going as far as deficiency now, because you had been diagnosed.
Well, we all know now the difference between the two.
Yeah, no, it's true, because everyone's insufficient if you're not supplementing, for sure. So you got a deficiency. We know that it takes about 4, 5, 6 months to correct the deficiency with a vitamin mineral. So there's the answer to that part if you're deficient. Insufficiencies, though, are more subtle.
Yeah.
It's that silent hunger. You can't hear, hey, you're just a little low on magnesium, which means your bones are going to break down. I can't repair that DNA. Your cell's now going to replicate not that well, because magnesium has got to go to your cardiovascular system and all the other places, because that's more important right now. But you're going to need more. You need more magnesium, vitamin K. So you can't hear that. That's the insufficiency. Now, here's what happens when you correct that. I always tell people, give yourself 45 days now that you've got a real multivitamin mineral that's got it, all 20 of the known underconsumed. So whichever one you're missing, you got it now. Yeah. Boom. And within 45 days, you see if you're sleeping better, your appetite's better, you want to move more, you have more energy. It'll take about that long. Now, it's so subtle. Here's what I tell them to do. After 45 days, you can keep a journal if you want, but if you're not going to keep a journal, don't worry about it. Just go a few months, and then at your 6 months or so, stop taking it, and you'll find out. You'll know within a week or two. Sleep goes back to the way, as long as you're eating the same way, right? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It is really amazing. I used to do that with all my students. Love to watch them come back. I go, okay, listen, even though I think it's unethical, I'm going to tell you to go off it. I need you to do it so I can prove myself to you. Yeah. We did that all the time back in the day.
All right. So I think that covers that part of it, because the next one is going to be, can be felt immediately, which you kind of answered it. Vitamins. Going to take about 45 days for insufficiency.
If you've been very insufficient for a while, you're going to see a significant change at about 45 days when all your cells are now operating at full capacity.
Nice. And is that only, I guess, for multivitamins, or like?
No, it would be of course, calcium is a mineral, so that falls in that same category. But yeah, antioxidants, probiotics, you're not going to notice it that much. It's going to take time. Yeah. All of your health supplements you get compounding benefits. So let's take lycopene, lutein, and zeaxanthin. These are what we call phytochemicals. They're in your fruits and vegetables that no one eats. Okay, but they're the ones that protect our skin from the harmful rays of the sun. Our eyes are made up of these things. Yeah. They protect our eyes from all that. Eyes go bad. They're part of. If you look at drugs they actually make for macular degeneration, contain these natural phytochemicals in them. So things like that take time to get back into your body, into the brain, into the antioxidant systems to be able to clear out those free radicals and stuff. So they'll take time. All of your health supplements are going to take you time. I like the 45-day number on anything like that.
Speaking of protecting your skin from the sun, I got absolutely torched. That's why I'm wearing soft clothing right now. So sorry about my fit. Yeah, I just got absolutely smoked by the sun. Dreading putting on a gi tonight, but I'll be all right. Okay, so how should supplements be taken? Is it better to take supplements with food or an empty stomach?
They're all different. Multivitamin mineral, everybody write this down. You always take it with food, okay? Because it works with your food, and your food helps kind of make it break down a little slower. So you always want to take it with food. Like our Super Blend, because it's a powder, A lot of people just drink it with their meal, you know what I mean? And they can do that. Or you just mix it with a whey protein.
Any sort of green.
Yeah, right. And
smoothie,
any green. Yeah, you can mix it with
which we'll get into a little bit here as our like sign off.
But then the other thing is, other things you want to work right away. So when you put something in a capsule, it's going to pretty much go right away, disintegrate and kind of get into your system very quickly. Powders will get into your system quickly because you don't have to break down the tablet. Tablets, we use tablets if we want to control the release of the nutrients. And that's what's different. So some things with food, some things without. Because there's things you want to get into your system. Food kind of slows the digestion down of certain things.
Yeah.
So, some things you want slow, but then some things you don't. But otherwise, if you're looking at say weight loss products, tablets or something like that, all you're trying to do is get your blood levels up to a certain amount. So as long as you're spreading it out evenly throughout the day, you'll get to a certain amount. And then the next day when you start taking the dose again, we call that a half-life. So let's say you're taking like a green tea extract and you're taking maybe something else in there like a milk thistle. Of these things here, they have to be at a certain level in the blood to be effective.
Yeah.
And that's why you take a dose again the second day, and you take one 3 times a day because it goes down slowly, and then you break the second dose, and it goes back up to where it's working again, and then it goes down. You take the third dose like that. So when I tell you to take something 3 times a day.
So it's a little more nuanced than just giving a
you wouldn't want to take all 3 at one time.
A black and white answer of
it all depends.
It all depends. You got to read the label or get the advice from.
Yeah, most of the labels will be pretty accurate in telling you what to do as far as taking it with a meal or without a meal or whatever. Yeah.
I guess so. When we're talking about like multivitamins, minerals, and like I guess just like vitamin probiotic, is it better to take it at night or in the morning?
With a meal. I like splitting it up. I like one multivitamin in the morning and one at night. So I've got full tissue saturation.
Someone is just a 1 a day or type person.
Just take it with a meal, or it doesn't matter. Morning or night does not matter.
You don't get any benefit from having it
not a vitamin and mineral.
You while you're sleeping or while you're like
there's sleep supplements you could take right before you go to bed. That would be it. Yeah, but no, something like a multi and something. And of course, creatine. We say if you're going to take 1 dose of creatine, take it after your workout.
Right.
And on non-training days, just take it with a meal. It doesn't matter. You're just keeping the blood level up.
All right. So now we're going to get into taking multiple supplements. Like, are there interactions between different supplements?
There's an overkill with people talk about, well, if you take calcium with zinc, you're not going to absorb one of them. Well, that's pretty much bullshit. You can vitamins and minerals. You can take them in a complete matrix, and you're going to be fine getting all that. Now, the problem with supplements now is when someone is not working with a professional, which is why we staff all our gyms with pros, then they're going to a store and they're buying a multivitamin mineral. Let's say it's got 20 vitamins and minerals in it. So it's got zinc, calcium, selenium, vitamin K, all this. Then they're buying a calcium supplement because the doctor said you got to have calcium because your bones are weak. And that's got vitamin D, vitamin K, magnesium in it, and zinc. And so they both have amounts. They're not adding up how much they're getting out of this one and this one. Now you got 2, so you're doubling up on it, on the zinc and whatever else there is, right? Magnesium or vitamin K, which should be in your calcium supplement too, so it'll work. Now you got that, and then you go get a protein powder, and they throw vitamins and minerals in that, which is very common. You see that on the thing. Or they'll eat a nutrition bar that's loaded with vitamins and minerals. Now you're getting vitamin K again. You're getting magnesium again. You're getting zinc again. You did all the math on it. You are now over the the upper limit, which is the tolerable upper limit, which means that if you stay doing that for a long period of time, bad things happen rather than good things.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with people going and shopping for themselves. They don't know what that is, and they're not adding it all up. We built a whole program around that to make sure the synergy keeps it all even. No one goes over an upper limit no matter what they're taking. And that takes a professional to do that.
Yeah, and
that's the thing.
You kind of just, as I asked one question, you just kind of hit the other ones on the head. So the next one would be, how can I avoid overdosing on vitamins and minerals?
Well, first of all, the easiest way, if you're not going to see someone, that's a certified professional like the 50,000 we have, you're going to end up just take a complete multivitamin mineral. Call it a day.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You won't go over the upper limit.
Yeah, so
because they're not going to put an upper limit in any. No one's going to do that in a one supplement.
Or they should.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. And then if you're going to buy a protein powder, just make sure it doesn't have vitamins and minerals in it because you're already getting it from here. Just make sure it's got what's naturally in there, like natural calcium and whey. Natural, and maybe and vitamin D, you can probably take a couple of those. You don't have to worry about extra ones of those. But so I'm just saying, just multi and get a protein that's not fortified with extra stuff, that you don't need because you're taking a multi.
Yeah, and that's the problem because the next question here is like, what are your thoughts on buying what the label says? Because a lot of people are going to see that high number up there and think that that's better for them. Oh, more is better, and then you're just walking through a vitamin shop or whatever, and you just like reading, oh, this has joint benefit, this has hair benefit, and then there might be two of the same thing in there, and you're just buying it, and it's like, I'm buying the maximum strength of each one,
Right.
What do you have to say to like people that
they shouldn't do it? I mean,
that?
that's the thing. Like I said, people don't know what they're shopping for.
Yeah.
They know the name of the product.
Yeah.
Okay, here's your Nutrafol for hair. Okay, here's your joint collagen for your joints and your skin, and then here's your multi for your skin, hair, and nails. Yeah. I mean, so they don't know what the amounts should be.
But best believe there's a lot of people out there doing that.
Oh yeah, I get it. And that's why we built what we built. I mean, you're making me answer questions in a different way because those are the issues that's why I don't like a consumer. If I'm in an elevator, people know what I do. They're always asking, what should I take? And I go, just take a multivitamin, I'll call it a day, and I walk out.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time to screen you.
Yeah. And
right.
That's a good, honest
there.
Truth, though, right?
That's it.
That's in theory.
Yeah.
Live a healthy lifestyle and take one of those, and you good.
Yeah, yeah. As long as you're getting enough protein every day too. Now, then there's things that you can do to get better. But I got to have a conversation with you about, or one of my professionals has to have a conversation with you about that.
The problem is people get into the whole cosmetic side of like beauty and whatnot, and then you're just buying maximum dosages, like you said, for hair, nails, whatever, all this anti-aging vitamins. And
the good news is it's not probably not hurting us, but it's not doing you any good either. You know what I mean? So you're just wasting money on so many of those. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. You're never going to waste any money when you're making sure you get your protein right and you're taking a complete multi. And then there's things that, and when we work with athletes, of course, we've got them on what we call a full stack of recovery stuff, like amino acids to recover from this crazy amounts of work. But that's not Mr. and Mrs. Jones, average person in the gym. They just need some extra protein to recover properly and to live better longer. That's all.
Yeah. So it's just I just don't know how to like get to how you can convey to people like stop going and like. Everyone should just, if you're going to be supplementing, should you just go see a professional?
Yeah.
Is that
That's like, and again, the problem is when you think go see a professional, we're going to ask the clerk at Rite Aid. Are you going to? They'll say like a pharmacist. Pharmacists don't know. They know very little about nutrition. They're just going to pick whatever the salesperson that dropped it off there. I mean, they do their best they can, but they're not the ones that know this kind of stuff. When you have a rare expertise in dietary supplements and actually working with millions of people every year, you get it. And that's what it really takes to do that. That's why otherwise, hey, listen. I just tell you, just call it a day. Get your protein intake, supplement that so you can get calorically efficient, meet your protein needs, your 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, take a complete multi and a fish oil if you don't eat fish. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. And then if you want to go to the next level, then go see, go to one of our outlets.
So is there any all like natural alternatives to supplements? Is there like a completely like holistic, like,
well, most supplements would be natural in the first place, but what you're talking about without taking a pill?
Yeah.
Well, not really. I mean, you can take a powder form of something, I suppose, and it would be all natural, just like your super blend. That's 100% natural, right? And that's so. But as far as going without supplementing, in other words, just food, you're going to miss things. That's all. And it's not going to be tomorrow. You just got a silent hunger creeping up on you, and it's going to be too late by the time you break. Yeah. You never heard it. So you're not going to just accidentally get the stuff you need. So there's no way of hitting the maximum amount your body can use. We don't want to go over what your body can use because then it can get toxic. Mm-hmm. The maximum, your body has a place where it can use a certain amount of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and, which are like vitamins and minerals.
Like that bell curve you were talking about, right?
So
you just want
this
to
is
be
a benefit. Oh, no benefit. Now toxic. Every ingredient, every compound follows the bell curve.
All right, so back to where we were kind of at in the beginning, because I wanted to save this part for the end, was choosing the right supplement brand. Okay, like, and try to. I know you're gonna talk a little bit about yours, but let's take a little deeper dive into this topic of like what is, the makings of a reputable brand.
A reputable brand is going to have a history and a heritage. And there's a lot of them out there that have histories and heritages, right? They've been around a long time. So that's number one. But then you got to look at their formulas. Are they USP approved? Are they NSF certified for sport? Do they have a third-party testing? Now you can at least trust that it's clean, it doesn't have bad stuff in it, and the label's accurate.
Yeah.
But I will always tell you to go one step further. That doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
So all you've got to do then is call the company and ask for their research and development team, which they don't have. Supplement companies don't have. They just have marketing teams. And we do this all the time, by the way. I do it in my classes. I have students right there call. Okay, call that company.
Yeah.
It's like a $1 billion company, right? Call them and see what you get. When you ask them why they formula, what are do you have documentation on the dosage and forms in this formula here? I want to buy it. And they'll go, well, no, we don't give that out. It's proprietary. Oh, it's proprietary. So the dosage and forms are proprietary of what? So I don't know what I'm putting in my body. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, we don't because it's we can't. This is our formula. Whenever you see proprietary there, and they don't, and all they do is list the total amount, and they got 17 different ingredients, and there's a lot of big companies. I'm not going to name them here and throw them under the bus.
Right. I will.
But yeah, that's it. I'm just telling you right now. They'll have a total thing. Here's my greens product, and they don't list how much of each thing is in there. So that is a non-starter.
Yeah.
You should never touch a product where it says proprietary blend, but here's what's in it. We won't tell you how much.
Yeah.
That's your red flag saying it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And so that's one thing. So that's not reputable company. That's your non-starter. Everybody write that down. If it says there's nothing wrong with being a proprietary blend as long as you tell them what's in it.
Yeah.
That just means you own it. We own all of our formulas.
Yeah.
But I disclose every frickin' one because you can't sell in the military. You can't sell in, teams can't buy unless that's a non-starter for them. It's a non-starter for them. It should be a non-starter for every human being.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing they should know. Now you've got a reputable company that's disclosing it all. Then you call and say, okay, I noticed that you have 6 milligrams of lycopene in here, and you have 5 milligrams of zeaxanthin in your antioxidant special formula for skin and eyes and recovery. Can you tell me why there's a mesoxanthin? Now you'll get someone at our end tell you exactly that and send you the studies with those dosages. Yeah. You call someone else, they don't even know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
They won't even know what to look for. They'll go, well, we can't tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying, so you do want to do double. One, it's got third-party tested, so you know it's clean and accurate. That doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
Then get the documentation that proves that those dosage and form will work. And then you've got a heritage, of the company. It's been around a long time.
So when we were talking about third-party testing, and there's a bunch, right?
Yeah.
And, NSF certified for sports, kind of like the top one, right?
It's the most famous, and it's, listen, if they're like, there's another one called Informed Choice. These guys are all fine.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm stuck with NSF. You know why? Yeah. And I call it extortion because we're the biggest in pro sports, and that's what they won't take Informed Choice.
Yeah.
They can, right? But the problem is when we go into camp, just like when your brother went to the NFL, they go into camp, they go, listen, only NSF certified for sport. That's what the trainers are telling you.
Yeah.
That's what the strength conditioning guys, their dietitians are saying that. But Informed Choice works just as well, and they're a lot cheaper. I'd go with them in a heartbeat if I could. Yeah. I just can't because the sports want it that way. But so the third-party testing, there's some other ones. You have to check them out, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of them seem a little shoddy,
Yeah, there could be. Now, Consumer Labs is another one. They're okay. They're the real deal.
Consumer Labs.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive too, I think. Yeah, and they're a good company. Yeah. No question. Again, like I said, NSF just made the deal with the devil with all the pro sports.
Yeah.
They promote NSF, and they're expensive. But I have a love-hate relationship.
So
with
I mean, you see all the time like third-party tested, but it
means nothing.
And it's
except that it's clean. It means there's no heavy metals past
But
what
like
you're
you
allowed,
said,
parts per million.
outside of those top two that you kind of said, it's like I'm sure there's probably 100 third-party
Yeah,
testing
that I wouldn't know.
facilities, and
That's a
it's
good
like,
question, though. I wouldn't know.
I feel like everyone now puts third-party tested, and who the hell even knows what that means?
Yeah, right.
anymore,
Exactly. That's a good point. That's a good point. They might. But like I said, we always have that niche. I don't care if it's third-party tested. Everybody's doing that now because Amazon's in trouble for selling stuff that wasn't accurate. So now Amazon's making everybody third-party test their product before they'll carry it.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I feel like some companies are just having their neighbor look at their fucking thing and saying, yeah, it's good,
It could be. And by the way, people should know it's that's a little, I don't know
That
if I
doesn't
should
even say
divulge
the
the secret.
company
Yeah.
that third party tested it. It just says third party tested.
Yeah,
So
see,
it's like,
that's good. I
even-
wouldn't know. I've never dug deep into those companies to find out. I guess you'd have to make some phone calls to find out who's the company, do some research on them. All I know is this. USP, if it meets those guidelines and it has a USP stamp, that means USP, which is nothing more than United States Pharmacopoeia, tells you how to make a product, which means they follow those rules.
Yeah.
That's still not necessarily third-party tested, though, because they could have made a mistake. It just meant they'll follow the rules. So if you look at for consumer lab tested, or if you look for NSF certified for sport, and even informed choice, they should be very happy that I'm actually giving them credit here, because I'd love to go with them if I could, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'm stuck.
All right. And then that begs the question. So, what is the FDA's role in dietary supplements?
Well, at the end of the day, they're reactive rather than proactive. In other words, you don't have to submit. You're supposed to submit your products and, this type of thing. But again, if it's the DSHEA Act, which is in 1994, it was passed, Dietary Supplement Health Education Act, where it allows the supplement companies to sort of police themselves, put in good manufacturing practices, make sure everything's done. But, because, in the mass market, they compete on price. So these things are kind of shortcutted. So then the FDA, what they'll do is they'll just go audit a bunch of manufacturers, and about 50% of them aren't following good manufacturing practices. They're not doing their testing, they're protein spiking, and they're doing this, and they get violation letters. Okay, so the FDA sends them a violation letter. You got to clean it up. They come back and reinspect them and that. So they're reactive, and then that's the only proactive side of them there. That was just an audit that they would do once in a while. But then when they're getting complaints about supplements making someone sick, and if that starts to mount, then they go after that supplement company. Or someone says, I feel funny when I take the supplement. They get another complaint, feel funny, same supplement. Then they'll go after that company. They'll take it apart, find out what's in it, and then they'll send a warning letter saying you've got active drug in your supplement, and they know they do, right? That's what they put in there.
So
there's a list of about,
so it's in there.
Yeah, there's
right?
I've got a list of about 40 different big companies, supplement companies that have violations, FDA violations, and they have warning letters sent to them to clean up their act. And that's never going to stop. It's like a whack-a-mole. Knock one down, another one pops up. Another one pops up. They're just going to keep doing it because they have to compete on price.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? A lot of the things are just...
That's the difference between a practitioner product. Again, I'm not going to toot our own form.
That. No.
Yeah, a practitioner product means, one, is third-party tested, and you're using the clean ingredients. Like everything we get is made in the United States, okay, which is very unusual. No big supplement company in the world would ever just make their raw materials in the United States. It's too expensive.
Yeah.
So you have that. And then you also have third-party tested, okay? And then you have the documentation like we have. Most of them don't even have the documentation. You don't have to have that documentation like we do. I have to have it because I'm psycho about doing everything perfect and updating formulas.
Well,
as
I think
science
the
progresses.
leading thing for you is integrity, right?
Yeah,
so it's just...
for sure.
And we'll get into that in the next
So
question.
listen, if I make it for my family and all the members of our gyms and of all of our big organizations, which we have millions and millions of members of our facilities, it's for them. It's all for them to live a better life and get to their goals quicker. But that's what a practitioner product is. We do not sell in the mass market. And because we sell through practitioners, which are our trainers, our certified people. And I said we have 50,000. That's just recently. We've got hundreds of them, 100,000.
What do you feel? How do you feel about getting advice now from internet experts, so-called experts? I know we're now in that space, so it's like I said, we have a nice heritage behind us that you can fact check and everything. But there's other ones that don't have quite the background in this, and they're actually trying to make a lateral or vertical move into this space. I won't say names, but he's a chiropractor. He's giving out nutrition advice.
Yeah.
You know, neurosurgeon giving out, or a neuroscientist like giving out health advice. And I mean, they're claiming they're experts, and then
Well, it sounds like
the integrity is not entirely there, right? Because if you're an expert and you're recommending products, you should be, you know, well informed on that product, and you know that that product isn't the best thing to be taking. This is now where the lines get blurred, and it's like, you're not an expert then, you know, or you're completely compromised with your integrity because
you're getting paid.
You're saying you're an expert and you're promoting a thing that might be better than nothing, but you know it's not. You're not recommending the best thing, which is this is why I wanted to start this entirely, because that is my whole gripe with this whole situation. Is this is like, you're not recommending like riding around on a scooter. You're recommending things to put in people's bodies that are supposed to make them as healthy as possible, and you're no longer upholding that standard of like recommending the best thing to put in another person's body.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing what money will do to a person.
Yeah.
So these people, these doctors, or you know, these people with their PhDs as neuroscientists and everything else, they are. They actually don't even pretend to be an expert. They just get people on their show. They get experts to talk about certain things, and then because, you know, I went to Stanford, I went to Harvard, and I got my degree in neuroscience. I keep talking about, you keep pumping yourself up. So that way, if he's endorsing something, it must be good.
Yeah.
But he's endorsing it because they're making money off it.
Right.
And yet at the same time, he's not qualified to look at that formula. He goes, God, it looks good. It's got all these vitamins and minerals in it. People don't get that. Right. It's got some greens in it. But
better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. However, it has, and I think I know what we're talking about, on like a number one selling greens product out there. You know, not in our channel.
Are you allowed to call it? Are you allowed to call it a greens product? I thought they had to switch it.
No, well, they did. They changed the name of it. Yeah, only because there's really not any greens in it. It's only got 2 grams of fiber. So how do you call that a greens product? I don't know. But anyway, it's interesting because they don't have the fact there are those ones that don't list the individual ingredient amounts.
Right.
They hide it in a complete amount. Do the math on the complete amount. It exposes the fact that none of those are at effective dosage.
Yeah.
If you added them all up, it'd be 50 times bigger amount. So again, that's the thing. And so guys like him, but he's not guys that are promoting that stuff right there on their thing,
which are a lot. It's not just
which are a lot, right? Yeah, they're just not in the know. Yeah. They're not real experts. They're not nutrition experts.
Yeah,
they're not. You wouldn't do that if you were a nutrition expert. Yeah. You would say this is hiding it. They're hiding the numbers. Yeah. That means right off the bat, that's a non-starter for anybody with any kind of nutrition IQ.
Yeah,
you see that, non-starter.
Yeah,
and that's the way all these things are.
Yeah. So as far as getting advice from internet experts and influencers,
are a whole nother thing. You're talking about an individual person. Just turn them off.
Yeah.
Just hang up on them.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, again.
That is.
I'm going to repeat my thing again.
That is a compromised individual.
I know that is without a doubt. I'm just going to say it again. Influencers, and I'm not talking about really true, bona fide nutrition experts that contribute to the scientific community on stuff here.
Like you do. You're
like I do.
You're everything.
I'm not just published. I mean, I'm the one that got calories on labels for people. I mean, I live in that real deep world of science.
Yeah.
But the influencers, the standard influence that you see on there, whether it be a greens product or whether it be a vitamin or whether it be a certain creatine, whatever, those are what we call people that know nothing about nutrition, selling nutrition to people that know nothing about nutrition.
Which is most of the people.
Bingo. That's the influencer. Turn them off. Click change the channel.
But I mean, that's why most people do not know anything about nutrition.
And so
when we talk about this stuff, it makes me realize how little I know about nutrition, and I know 1,000 times more than the person that doesn't, and I still don't know really anything, which is crazy.
But the other issue about influencers is that people fall in love with influencers, so they fall in love with whatever they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's their friend, and part's cool. But to your point, if the influencer's selling clothes or a motorcycle or anything.
Cool.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
There's a compounded nutrient going into your body.
Yes. This is,
Fuck that.
yeah.
Okay. You have no clue what you're talking about.
We're so far
Yeah.
from, what you
That's
should
totally
be getting
different.
influenced
But
on.
foods, yeah, a restaurant,
Yeah.
and this, I made this. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
great.
Yeah.
But when it comes to
Not
this, that
nutrition,
is like
yeah.
the
Just
whole
turn it off.
reason for our setup here is to, really just try to cut through the shit, and hopefully this gets to as many people as possible.
And
to
that's the
where
other thing. You
they
can
can
ask-
be guided by the right light, And we're not trying to we're not going to be here promoting our stuff or anything.
No.
Of course, naturally, it's going to be tied in because this is
we
what
do it
we
right.
do, this is what
exactly.
we do, and this is our
We basically police
experiences.
the industry.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And this is our experiences, or your experiences. I'm just a byproduct of all of it. And so that's naturally going to come, but we're not going to be shoving it down your throats or anything like that. We just want to get truth out there for you to use for your own good.
Yep.
That's it.
Exactly. And your family.
Next question would be, and the final one, what is something you wish you could change about the industry or the nutrition space? Is there anything?
I wish everybody would have. Well, again, that's our little niche is the fact that we go to all the lengths to do that, and then then everyone would be copying what we do.
Yeah.
As far as, but the reason they don't is because it would cost them too much.
Yeah.
You can't sell in the mass market without advertising. We don't advertise.
Yeah.
But we always make the joke. You don't see us in advertisement. You see us in the locker rooms.
Yeah.
You see us in the billion-dollar organizations. That
true.
kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because we can't. We're a practitioner. You can't advertise something I don't know you need. Yeah. You follow me? So we go through the whole process and do it right. Even our website does it.
I mean, it's funny. A lot of these athletes are sponsored by other companies, but shout out Conor McGregor. But you go on his documentary.
Yeah,
he was sponsored, I'm pretty sure, by somebody else at the time.
Oh yeah,
but what's on his nightstand?
Nightstand was the N07
Dot Fit Shaker.
exactly.
Thank you, Connor.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah.
The same thing with the NBA guys.
You're gonna get that clip removed now. But yeah, so that's it.
Yeah.
As far as industry change or space, do you ever wish? This is a question, I guess, for me. Do you ever wish the FDA would step in more? Do you wish there was more FDA regulation?
Yeah, I do, because that would get all the bad actors out, and that would if they could step in more. I do wish that. I know that people can't do what we do because they couldn't afford to do that and advertise.
Right.
So we live in our own space. Okay, we just save the advertising money. We don't have it there. We put it in the formulation.
Yeah. And
okay, so we have practitioners that work with us and all that. So so that's that. But yeah, I just I just wish that the FDA would step in, and I'm glad you throw that in there, and now just clean up the bad actors. They do have a dietary supplement a vertical now in the FDA where they assign certain people to the industry to help police it a little bit, but it's still understaffed. I wish they could come, because by the way, if they did that, we'd be one of the very few survivors.
Yeah, that's what
I mean. It would clean up the whole industry.
Love
yeah.
that,
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I always love it when NSF looks at our stuff. Because, right on the NSF site, you know what it says? It says, third-party tested, here's all the products, doesn't mean it works.
Yeah.
When they test ours, when they look at ours, and they look at the formulation, they go, shit, this is like amazing. They're third-party testing something that's got like 75 pages on one ingredient on clinical dose form, and they've never seen that before, ever. So a whole different space. You get respect. From these big organizations, go, wow, because if the whole supplement industry did that, it'd be another world.
Yeah, I mean, being respected amongst your peers is better than
that's for sure.
Without a doubt. Fake experts and influencers. Not fake experts, that's the wrong word.
They're experts in something else.
Yeah,
and they're trying to parlay that over to something they don't know enough about.
I don't know, running out of content or something.
Yeah, I don't want to take that away from them. Many of them are experts.
They're trying to do the right thing at the end of the day, but the integrity is a little compromised at times, which I just can't get over. That drives me crazy. All right, well, that'll do it for this episode. If you liked it, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
Good.